Welcome back, horror community. I was in my third year of university back then. Always wanted to be a doctor. Both my parents were doctors, so I just followed in their footsteps. I lived in a dorm, studied during the day, and worked evenings. Honestly, after 3 years of dorm life, I was completely done with it and decided to find a place of my own. Finding decent housing in Pyongyang is like hitting the lottery. I was scrolling through listings when I came across one. An apartment in an old building, 10 minutes from campus at half the normal rent. Kinda weird, honestly. Suspiciously cheap. I thought maybe the owners just want to rent it out fast. So I messaged the agent, Mrs. Cho. She replied right away and set up a viewing that evening. The building looked, to put it mildly, like it was on its last legs. Mrs. Cho, a woman in her 50s with the exact same haircut as my anatomy teacher, led me upstairs. We walked into the apartment. Well, what can I say? It was just an apartment. One room, a kitchen, a bathroom. Clean enough, smelled kind of fresh. More like laundry detergent, though. Like someone had either just cleaned it or scrubbed the floors with something strong. I asked her, "Why is it so cheap? The owners need to rent it out quickly or what?" She smiled and immediately said, "Exactly. You've already answered your own question." Her fingers fidgeted nervously with her bag strap. I walked through again. Kitchen's fine, bathroom fine, room fine. I signed the lease, she left, but the feeling that something was off didn't go anywhere. As soon as Mrs. Cho left, the apartment seemed to change. The air turned damp, heavy, like an old perfume someone sprayed 100 years ago. I walked around and opened the windows to let some air in. In the kitchen, I noticed one of the drawers was open. Weird. Everything was closed during the viewing. Maybe Choa opened it? I looked inside. There was a set of knives. I was sure the drawer had been closed. From the bathroom came a sound, steady dripping. I went to check. The faucet was closed, but water was still dripping. Why hadn't it done that earlier when we looked around? It felt like the apartment had frozen during the viewing, then exhaled all its weirdness afterward. That evening, I moved my things in and spent forever unpacking. I went to bed around 2 a.m., lying on my side in the dark, eyes closed, trying to fall asleep. And then I felt it. Not a sound, not movement, just someone's gaze. Like someone was standing right by the bed, staring at my back. I didn't move, too scared to turn around. It's just a new place, I told myself. With that thought, I finally drifted off. I had a dream. Which was weird, because, believe it or not, I'd never had a single dream in my entire life. Not once, I swear. I didn't even know what that was like. And yet, that night it felt like someone had climbed right into my head. A girl with short dark hair was sitting on a chair next to my bed, staring at me. Cute face, calm expression. Then she stood up and came closer. "Can I live here with you?" she asked in the softest, sweetest voice I'd ever heard. I sat up in bed and said, "No, I don't even know who you are." Her sweet face twisted, started changing. The skin darkened with visible veins. Her eyes turned white. She screamed, "Can I live here with you?" I shot up in bed, drenched in cold sweat. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it would break out of my chest, and my heels went numb from fear. For a few seconds, I didn't even know where I was. After catching my breath, I turned on the light, checked the door and windows. They were all locked. I calmed myself down, thinking it was just my first night in a new place. In the morning, I drank coffee, flipped through my textbooks, got ready for class. Honestly, I tried not to think about it, but deep down I knew It wasn't just a dream. It was a warning. At the campus cafe, I ran into Yon Chol, my friend since freshman year. "So, how's your new apartment?" he asked. I forced a smile. "It's fine, but the first night sucked. Had a nightmare, though I don't even dream usually." Yon Chol laughed, slapped me on the shoulder. "Don't tell me someone climbed out of your TV. You've got 7 days left, brother." He laughed again, wished me luck, and went to class. I stayed there, staring into my empty cup, with a growing sense that I'd said something I shouldn't have. Like someone had overheard, I shook my head, trying to clear my thoughts, but they clung to me. I lingered in the library all afternoon, flipping through notes, stalling for time. When the sun finally set, I realized I didn't want to go home. For the first time in ages, I was afraid to open my own door. Maybe I'm just being dramatic, I told myself. Forcing the thought away, I pushed myself to go. I made dinner, ate, and went to bed. Fell asleep quickly, to be honest. But the dream came again. Worse this time. The same short-haired girl stood in the kitchen. Her movements were slow, mechanical. She took a long knife from that same drawer I'd seen before, smiled, a twisted, unnatural smile, and ran her tongue along the blade. "Chol, let's play," she said. I tried to scream, but my throat locked up. She stretched her arms forward, holding the knife, and then drove it straight into her own chest. She laughed, and that laugh, it sliced through my ears like glass. I woke up gasping in the dark. My heart was pounding, the room freezing cold like a cellar. I turned on the light and looked toward the kitchen. A knife was lying on the floor, the same one with the darkened handle. My legs trembled. My mind was a mess. I didn't sleep again that night. Something in that apartment was haunting me, and it wasn't going anywhere. In the morning, I called the agent. "Excuse me, Mrs. Cho, but what's wrong with this apartment?" I said, trying to sound calm. "What happened, Chol?" she asked. "After you left, everything got weird. There were strange smells, an open drawer full of knives. Water started dripping, then stopped even though it wasn't dripping when you were here. And I started dreaming about a girl, even though I never dream. Then, last night, that knife was on the floor. The silence on the other end was way too long. "It's fine," she finally said. "Old building, probably just the pipes. Don't worry." Her calmness pissed me off. She knew something, but wasn't saying it. I hung up, too angry to keep talking. During the day, I tried to distract myself, but my thoughts kept coming back to the knife I'd hidden in the drawer. That evening, when I got home, I froze in the doorway. That heavy, ancient perfume smell hit me again. Sweet and suffocating, like someone had just walked past. From the bathroom came the dripping sound, louder than before. I peeked in. The tub was almost full. The water wasn't dripping anymore. What the hell is going on here? How's that even possible? My heart was racing. Something in that apartment was toying with me, and I wasn't ready for its next move. I drained the tub and went to bed. I woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of water. Not dripping this time, but rushing, like someone had turned the tap all the way on. I forced myself to get up, only turned on the lamp by the bed, then walked toward the sound. In the bathroom, she was there, the woman from my dreams, standing in the tub filled with water. In her hands was a hairdryer, its cord plugged into the wall. I'm not alone anymore. Now it's us, Chol, you and me. And with those words, she dropped the dryer into the water. Her body jerked, convulsed, sliding down into the tub. Her legs thrashed under the water as if in spasms. Her fingers clawed at the air, her tongue hung out. Her eyes bulged and stared straight at me. I heard a scream, a mad, human scream, and then silence. Her body slowly sank beneath the surface. I just stood there, frozen in shock, and then she looked up at me, from under the water, and smiled. Slowly, unnaturally, like her facial muscles were being pulled from the inside. I stumbled back, tripped, fell. The last thing I remember was hitting my head hard. When I came to, I was lying on the floor, drenched in sweat. The bathroom was silent. My head throbbed. The hairdryer was still plugged in, lying in the tub full of water. I yanked the cord out of the socket and pulled the dryer out. It wasn't a dream. This couldn't go on. The agent kept quiet, so I decided to ask the neighbors what was wrong with the place. I knocked on 2 doors. Both slammed shut the moment they heard which apartment I lived in. The third neighbor, a guy around 25, let me in. I told him I'd just moved in and wanted to know more about the apartment. So he told me. A woman used to live there, a teacher. Her husband cheated on her, and she killed herself. Threw a plugged-in hairdryer into the bathtub. They found a note with one line. "If someone moves in, I won't be alone." My throat went dry. The guy added, "People say she's still there, waiting. Did something happen to you?" "No," I said. "Just curious. Everything's fine." I left, feeling like the floor had dropped out from under me. I packed my stuff and practically ran down the stairs. Every nerve in me screamed, "Run! Don't look back!" I could feel her eyes on my back, watching me leave. I found a new place. It was more expensive and farther from campus, but at least the water didn't drip and the dreams stopped. Everything stayed behind in that apartment, like I'd shut a door to another world. Some apartments are half price not because they're old or cramped, but because they hold someone else's life. Shadows that never left, just waiting for a new tenant to remind them they exist. I thought I escaped, and maybe I did. But now, every time I see an ad for a cheap apartment, I picture her. The short-haired woman sitting on a chair, waiting for someone to sign the lease. My name's Michi. When I started university, it felt like the beginning of something huge. New city, new people, endless classes. But every morning, I was already waiting for 9 p.m., the time my boyfriend Jude appeared on my phone screen. We studied in different cities, but we never broke up. He lived in his grandmother's old apartment, green wallpaper, a round mirror on the wall. His grandmother had moved in with her sister, so he got the place while he studied. I lived alone too, renting a small apartment. Our calls became routine. 9 o'clock sharp. You there? Yeah. He'd laugh, complain about lectures, talk about noisy neighbors. Sometimes I'd set my phone on the windowsill and just listen to his voice while washing dishes. The distance between us felt smaller, almost peaceful, like the screens themselves were holding us together more than any real meeting could. The first week of classes flew by. Then one evening, during our usual call, I noticed something different about his room. That night, everything seemed normal. I called him right at 9. He answered with his usual tired smile, a cup of instant noodles in hand. But something about the room felt off. Maybe the furniture had been moved. Maybe the lighting was different. I couldn't tell, but something was wrong. You know that feeling when something's off, but you can't figure out what? "Did you move the furniture?" I asked. He turned, glanced around, and smiled. "Didn't move a thing." "Change the bulbs, maybe?" "Nope. Didn't touch anything." "Why?" I waved it off. Forget it. Nothing important. But I kept looking at the screen, like if I stared hard enough, I could see more than what the camera showed. Then, for just a split second, I thought I saw a shadow behind him, like someone walking past in the dark. "Is someone there with you?" I blurted out. He frowned. "Michi, there's no one here. I'm alone. What's wrong?" I hesitated, feeling stupid. Probably my imagination. When the call ended, I caught myself staring at the black screen for too long, like the connection was still open. Just no one answering on the other side. The next night we called again at 9 sharp. I poured myself a cup of coffee even though it was late. Jude, as usual, was eating noodles. We joked about classes. I told him about a professor who mixed up my notes. He told me how he fell asleep in class and dropped his pen under someone's desk. It was fun. Easy. Then Jude leaned forward toward his bowl, and behind him I saw the mirror. For a split second, in that mirror, there was a woman in a white dress. Just a moment, and she was gone. I really saw her, but even then I wasn't sure I believed it. I froze. I couldn't tell if it was a trick of the light or if there really was a woman standing in that mirror. "Why are you so quiet?" Jude asked, looking up. "Something wrong again?" "No, it's fine. I was just thinking," I said. "Okay, honestly, I'm wiped out," he mumbled. "I'll finish this and head to bed. Let's talk tomorrow." "Sure. See you tomorrow. Good night." The screen went dark. But I couldn't shake it off as tiredness. There was definitely someone else in his apartment. Less than a minute later, I couldn't take it. I called again. He picked up almost immediately, surprised, still looking exhausted. "What's wrong?" he asked. "Who's the woman in the white dress behind you? Found yourself a new girlfriend? I saw her in the mirror." He blinked, confused, then turned toward the mirror, only his back and the room reflected in it. "What woman?" he said quietly. "There's no one here. Michi, I live alone." My blood was boiling. Anger, fear, jealousy, all at once. "Don't mess with me. I saw her. She was standing right behind you." "Michi, are you serious? Maybe you imagined it. Or maybe you just miss me too much and you're starting to see things?" We both went silent. For the first time, neither of us knew what to say. Honestly, that call ended in such a strange way. When the screen went black, I realized I wasn't just doubting myself anymore. I was doubting him too. I decided that next time I'd record the call. If I was losing my mind, I wanted proof. The next evening, we called like usual. During the conversation, everything seemed normal. No shadows, no reflections in the mirror. I even caught myself thinking how funny it was. I'd turned on the recording to catch something supernatural, and instead, it looked like a video of two tired college students. After the call, I sat down to rewatch the footage, just to be safe. At first, nothing strange. But when I skipped closer to the end and zoomed in, I felt this chill crawl over me. In that same mirror, something was out of focus. Some kind of smooth, slow movement, like someone was turning their head. I slowed the frame down and saw her again. The same woman in the white dress. She wasn't looking at him. She was looking at me. Straight into the camera. Even through the screen, I could feel it. Her eyes were blurred, but her gaze was precise, direct, as if she was staring right into mine. I threw the phone away from me. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it knew she was about to step out of the screen. But then something happened that turned everything completely upside down. Ever since I'd asked him directly about the woman in white, our calls had changed. There was this unspoken tension between us. Jude tried to sound gentle, but his eyes showed tired confusion, like he was trying to figure out my sudden hallucinations. That night, the connection was especially bad. The image kept freezing, distorting his face. He was talking about some project, and I, already eaten up by paranoia, kept staring into the mirror behind him, waiting for another glimpse. And then, while he was explaining something with his usual excitement, the tall porcelain vase on the dresser behind him, the same one that had always been there, suddenly shook, as if pushed by something unseen, slid to the edge, and shattered on the floor with a deafening crash. We both flinched at the sound. I stared at my phone, unable to move, just silently watching. "Did you see that?" "I saw it." "What was that?" Jude asked, stunned. "I told you, there's someone else in your apartment." "Michi, I swear, there's no one here but me." "Jude, look at the floor. Do you see the broken vase?" We just sat there, paralyzed, staring at the shards. They were proof that in that apartment, where he was supposed to be alone, there was something else. Jude said things couldn't go on like this and that we needed to call Grandma Pyongyang to ask her about the apartment. He actually did it that same evening. At first, it was just small talk, but then I heard his voice change. "Grandma, who lived in this apartment before you?" He went quiet, listening to her. It turned out that many years ago, a woman had lived there alone. A doctor. She had died in that very apartment after a long illness. His grandma remembered her as strict, domineering, never socializing with anyone, keeping her home almost surgically clean. She always wore a white dress, like a lab coat. Hearing that sent a chill through me. It was eerie, creepy even. Now, the ghost had not just a face, but a story. And that didn't bring us peace. It only filled the old walls of that apartment with an even darker meaning. I woke up in the middle of the night to a call. He was holding the camera so close I couldn't even see his face. "Jude, what's wrong? What happened?" "She's here," he whispered. He moved the phone slightly aside and said in a trembling voice, "Over there, in the room behind me, look." In the dark doorway behind him, something began to take shape. Not all at once, but slowly, like a hazy patch that thickened into the outline of a woman. In a white gown. Her face was just as blurred, and then I heard her footsteps. One, then another. "Jude, please, get out of there," I almost screamed. He turned sharply, and his phone slipped from his hand, showing flashes of ceiling, floor, movement. When the image stabilized, the room was empty. Only him. Pale, shaking, eyes unfocused. I saw her," he said faintly. "She walked up to the mirror, touched it, and disappeared." The call cut off. When the screen went black, something white flickered for a split second in my monitor. As if she had found a way to cross from one place to another, he called back right away and begged me to come over. I grabbed some salt and went to his place. When he opened the door, he looked like he hadn't slept in days, eyes red, hands trembling. The room was the same, but the mirror was covered with a sheet. The air smelled faintly of hospital disinfectant. "I brought salt. We need to do a cleansing ritual. We'll need water too," I told Jude and started getting ready. I wasn't sure it would work. I'd never done anything like that, but we had to try something. Salt, they say, protects against evil spirits. We went around the whole apartment, sprinkling salt in the corners and on the windowsills. I scattered it and kept saying, "Leave this place. It's not yours." Jude poured water over the salt to dissolve it. Near the mirror, we placed a cup of salted water so it could absorb any leftover energy, and in the morning, we poured it out outside. Afterward, we sat down on the floor together. He wrapped his arms around me, and for the first time in a long while, I felt truly calm. I thought maybe fear could be endured, if someone was beside you. 2 months have passed since then. Nothing's happened. We still talk over video calls. But every time he turns on the camera, my eyes drift toward that dark room behind him. And every time, I think I see something there. Every time, it feels like someone's watching me from the darkness. I keep pushing the thought away because I know, at least I want to believe, that there's no one there. Or, hope you enjoyed these true stories. Subscribe so you don't miss the next ones. And remember, the only ones who never fear are those without imagination.